nerdy with me.
All right. I said all right. God.
All right. We are live, Prime Time Live, and we're about to get into this big old mashup of Loki. I know you guys been wanting me to do this. I'm going to do this. I know you guys, but we already seen the show. Don't worry about all that. We're going to do this. So if you're new here or returning, please like and comment down. And like I said, if you're brand new, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, what's your problem? Subscribe now. You know what I'm saying? If you're on Facebook, share this because we're about to get into it. By the way, I'm your host, Mingo-Dee.
I'm your boy Snake.
And I am the Hammer.
He's in the multiverse. I knew it.
He's actually back. Actually made it back to the show.
But he's still, the multiverse still did something. We're going to get into all that later. But first, word from, no, we don't have sponsors like that. A word from our sponsors. Hello, if you have ED, no, I'm joking.
Oh, God.
Whoa. Listen.
Woo, that's an East Labber. I'm sorry.
Are you all right?
Sorry.
You all right, Ray? That kind of hit you a little hard there. You kind of reacted You got something to say?
Hey, bro, I wasn't. I wasn't ready for
like
it. Hey, man,
personal.
No, not personal. I just wasn't ready for it. That's some serious stuff there, man.
You never know who your sponsors are going to be, so you just kind of got to go with it. You never know. You never know. You could be eating oatmeal one day, turn around eating Rice Krispie Treat cereal or something like that. Y'all remember that Rice Krispie Treat cereal? Not Rice Krispies, but Rice Krispie Treat cereal.
I did.
Yeah, way back in the day. I think I'm giving away my age. But let's get into it, guys. Let's talk Comic-Con. So, if you haven't lived under the rock, actually a lot of us have, because it's been, even though this is 2021, a lot of things haven't really gotten back to normal, and Comic-Con is one of them. Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, which is what I'm referring to. So I know it's a lot of other Comic-Cons, but we're talking about the main one, the one that started it all, San Diego Comic-Con. They just opened their doors and had people come back in, and they even did a Comic-Con at home, knowing that a lot of people weren't going to try to come out or fly out or wherever the case may be. But it was a little smaller this year, I would say. It wasn't as big as previous ones, of course, because, they skipped one, not, if you haven't paid attention. I just said it right now. But some people showed up, but just from, this being prime time, my people necessarily didn't show up too much. A lot of movies and a lot of shows didn't really show up too much. A lot of from Film Guild, probably because they already have their own trailers and things getting ready to release, if not already releasing, over the next couple of weeks. Such as Disney, which has already released a lot of their content already, as far as like what's to come. So you kind of already know, and WB or whatnot. But they still had some good stuff, and you can go on the San Diego Comic-Con and check out some of the stuff. A lot of it I won't talk about. Well, I'll talk about it. Let's just say it was really horror heavy this year. You had some Chucky news. You had some Zack Snyder zombie. I forgot the name of that movie. Zombie something. It's a good one. It's the return. I want to say Return of Zombie Island. I could be wrong. Forgive me for people who love that franchise or movie or whatever. And then you have some stuff about The Walking Dead, which there's a lot of Walking Dead in there. I'm not going to go into too much of that because I have a special announcement at the end of where I'm going to start for next week, which is August. So I'll get back to that. But I want to highlight a couple things there. Amazon has a new show that they come out with. I think it's called The Watchtower. It's, if you like Game of Thrones, you're going to possibly love this. This is like Game of Thrones, but technically their words on steroids, to where it's like, it's more crazy dragons and more, and the characters are even more over the top. Even their gay characters, the black characters, the Mexican characters. But I'm not sure they have Mexican characters. Might have Mexican characters, but all their characters are over the top, crazy, gore, blood. So apparently it's gonna be amazing, and they're saying it's gonna be, not necessarily a Game of Thrones killer, but it's gonna whet your palate. If you like Game of Thrones or those medieval time type shows or anything, very magical or, ancient world, like, this is going to give you that feel to where it's like, we're back, I got something else. Because let's just be honest, we all have gotten a little, superhero saturated, kind of, you know what I mean? I mean, maybe not Snake. Moon setup with superheroes, including Dragon Ball. Look at his new setup, people. You see it back there? It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. Y'all see setup? It's amazing. He just did that in 2 seconds. Like 2 seconds ago, he just redid all of that. He did it in 2 seconds. They can't see it because we're too little for us to see, or they're seeing it in my face. That's what it is. Sorry. But whenever you can see it, whether it be on his show, you're going to like it. It's awesome. He has superhero stuff. But as I said before, a lot of us have gotten superhero saturated. So I don't know if my guys have watched or paid attention to Comic-Con. I think on Nerdmation we talked a couple little tidbits of Comic-Con. Also, let's talk. Also, Doctor Who is coming out with, I think, a first female Doctor, which I think is interesting, by the way. So we can talk about that as well. But I want to know from my guys exactly, starting with Snake first, and then Hammer. Whenever you're ready to come out of the void of the, well, I know you're still like your part of your soul is here from the multiverse, but the other part is trapped. Maybe we'll have to wait on the Doctor Strange or somebody to come get you out of it. Whatever. We're gonna let Snake discuss some things that he liked, maybe movies and stuff from Comic-Con. Anything that you just like, this one was a stand. Liked it from Comic-Con. It's pretty cool. No, nah, whatever. So, what you got?
You were supposed to talk about what came out in Comic-Con. I didn't cover anything from Comic-Con, so I don't know what all.
No, I mean you haven't seen anything. No, I was just checking, just trying to see if you seen anything from Comic-Con.
I've seen
like I said,
things, but
nothing that really was like this. I like this show or anything like that. Or I like this movie. Anything like that. Like I said, from what I saw, it was a lot of stuff that's already out, and it's a lot of stuff that was very horror based in my opinion, and I didn't want to really jump into the horror genre yet, being August, September, and October is coming,
it's not nerdy
in a few months. So, but Hammer, what about you? You see anything that you really liked about Comic-Con?
I think you see a lot. There's one thing that I read. I didn't even actually see it in the con, and I don't know if they really went into detail at the con, but my wife is a big fan of Dexter. And they're bringing back Dexter. I don't know if that was mentioned at that con. I just remember reading, while searching for Comic-Con stuff, I remember finding that article, and I can't remember if they said that was discussed at the con or not. I got to go back and really dive deep into what all they discussed at the con, to be honest. Still working a lot. But if Dexter was a part of it, that's probably the one thing that I did see. And like I said, she was stoked because she liked Dexter. I didn't think Dexter was a bad show. I thought it was pretty messed up. But if that was announced there, that was probably the one thing that I saw. To be honest, I wish I had more, but
yeah, I didn't see Dexter. Technically, I didn't see Dexter in the con. Like I didn't watch all of it. It's a 3-day event. I tried to catch what I could. But if it did, but I did hear rumors as well. What I would say about Dexter is that when it came out at its time, I think it was very revolutionary. But I think it was one of those gems that people really didn't really get. At the time that it came out, it was. Let me see. I'm trying to think if Hannibal was out or did it released at around that time or before. Sure before, but I'm trying to think if like the third movie or whatever came out. But point being is that it took a different take on what you know about psychopaths, sociopath, serial killers, which everybody knows the different takes. You got horror movie takes, which of Michael Myers and Texas Chainsaw Massacre and whatnot. You got the, like I said, the sophisticated ones like Seven with Seven Deadly Sins, and of course Hannibal, like I just mentioned, and with Silence of the Lambs. But this one was different. This was a take where it was you get a serial killer or a possible serial killer, someone's possibly a sociopath or a psychopath, and you use, it was his dad, but if you guys haven't seen it, spoilers, but you use technically, I guess, psychology or reverse psychology or love, or it's been a while since I've seen the show, but you convince that person either from an early age or from an adult, to some retrospects in the seasons, and convince them to change and to use their mental illness as a what's the word, as a can't think of the word, superhero ish type. I can't think of a word, but use it for good. I'm just gonna say that because I can't think of what I was gonna say to make it. But so it was actually different, and the show, it took some weird turns as most shows, but it was.
What?
That's not what I was gonna say at all.
You said superhero. I'm like, that's the only thing that came to my mind is superhero.
Stack shot.
What?
So it was revolutionary. So, and speaking of revolutionary, like I said, one of the things Comic-Con did talk about a lot was how Doctor Who is. First off, Doctor Who is one of those shows that it's live action ish, and it's still going. It's one of those shows that has not ended. People in Britain and the UK, in England, they love Doctor Who, and it's been continuing to just keep going and keep going. It's one of those shows you just replace the Doctor and you just keep going. They go on sci-fi adventures, they save the world or the universe or the galaxy or whatever the case, and then they start back over, go to a different timeline. And this is the one that some people even say that, well, you can't say that because Marvel and DC has comics, but as far as TV is concerned, some people say that Doctor Who was the first to do it on TV, to do multiverses and timelines and to jump back and forth in time. Some people say Doctor Who was the first. I'm not necessarily sure. I'm not sure. I think Doctor Who, I'm not sure when Doctor Who came out. Came out a very long time ago. But the fact that I want to say the 60s, but if my mom was here, she would probably be like, nope, you're wrong. Because, my mom, she would know. She would know. But I don't know. But now I don't know if it was the first. Maybe Twilight Zone was probably, but Twilight Zone doesn't count. It's like that's just alternate universes. But yeah, Doctor Who is now they're getting their first girl, I think, and that's going to be revolutionary.
I was just going to say, I have to stand corrected. I did see it on the top because I did see the Doctor Who thing, and Doctor Who is a girl this time. It's a girl.
Yeah.
I found that interesting.
Yeah, because I think they had I think they kept talking about making the Doctor a girl, because the Doctor is supposed to be. This is my sister's definition, because it took me a minute to get into Doctor Who, because I was like, this is trash. Ain't no way. Because it's. Side note. Let me tell y'all a little quick small story. So, I have to admit, I was late to the party on this anime a long time ago. This is way back in the day. Well, not way back in the day, but on this anime called Bleach, I was late to the party at first, and I had to catch up to everybody else. Why? Because my sister was always saying, "Hey, you should watch Bleach." And I'm like, "What?" I'm thinking, I'm about to go wash my clothes with Bleach. Anime. But what is Bleach? I don't know. I just gotta tell the story.
You butting into myself, huh?
No, I just gotta tell the story. No, I don't want to do nothing. I just want to tell the story. So I'm like, I ain't about to watch that, because I'm thinking, actual Bleach you wash your clothes with. And, I wasn't, at this point in time, I wasn't used to shows that had like really oxymoronic names or crazy names to have a double, triple meaning type thing yet. I was like, this show is about cats, or this show is about Ninja Turtles. This show is about a guy with a mask. It was simple. It was a simple times. And then she said bleach, and it threw me off, so I didn't. So, and then I watched it, and I was amazed, and I was like, oh, it totally isn't about pouring this stuff on and cleaning this stain that you can't get out. Didn't know that. I felt like fool. So when she said Doctor Who, I was like, who's the doctor?
God.
I don't know, because she said bleach, and then she said anime, and everybody knows anime can go from here to here to here to here. Everybody knows that.
Anime makes them crazy. I give you that, but about pouring bleach on stuff, really?
Look, all I know is that she told me the name of the show was Bleach, and I was like,
oh my God.
What? Listen, if you was in my shoes at the time, you would have been like, what? You gotta understand.
Anyway,
so when they talked about Doctor Who, when she brought up Doctor Who and others, I was just like, what does this doctor do? And then she was trying to rhymed. And then she was trying to explain the doctor, because apparently there's so many seasons beforehand. Because like I said, it came out before the 70s, I know that, or at least before the 80s, I know that for sure. I want to say it came out in the 50s, but whatever. I digress. So she kept talking about this doctor that apparently can change. It could be an older guy, a younger guy. It could be the guy could be homosexual. The guy can be asexual. The guy can have multiple women. The guy can just be like robotic and it was a lot of different things. And I was just like, what? And I thought it was crazy until I actually watched a season or two, and then actually did some recaps. And I was like, this show is before its time, or whatever. And then when she explained some of the bad guys, like these gargoyle like angel type creatures that they technically can't be killed ish. You can kind of banish them into a void, but they will always come back, and they're like the spawn of your existence when it comes to being a doctor and being on the show, because they can follow you technically anywhere. They're like a nemesis and all that kind of stuff. It piqued my interest, and like I said, I haven't watched every season because it's like The Simpsons. It's like you're going to kill yourself if you haven't ever started to watch The Simpsons and you try to watch it right now. From then you're gonna kill yourself. But I find, like I said, I've watched Doctor Who and I've seen what they've been doing with it, and I'm impressed. And what they're doing now with the woman, I'm actually I want to see if she's going to be able to keep that same impressiveness, what her storyline is going to be, how she's going to be different, and and then if they're going to just keep this whole ordeal going up. But like I said, guys,
Doctor Who.
Yeah, it's a lot to get into.
I can't do it. It's gonna be the one I don't watch.
Well, the thing about it is that, yeah. Well, the one thing that's good is that you can always, if you ever do, I know you say you're not, but if you ever do, you can always do recaps. There are some people who got recap videos on everything. You can just watch all the recaps and then watch the very latest season, and you're like, okay, I'm good now. I know everything. I don't need to watch all of that stuff. Unless you're a purist and you feel like you have to watch every season. I'm not one of them. No, I'm not. I can't.
If I did, I would have to. So, nope.
That's insane. You're insane. You're insane.
You're insane for bringing it up.
I'm just. Well, it was at Comic-Con. It was a good story. It was. It was really good. It was really good.
Keep going.
So, with that being said, we're going to move on. But before we move on, my big announcement. I'm going to give it to you now. The reason why I'm not going into all the other things like the Chucky and the Walking Dead is because next month they're technically there's like maybe 7, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna say 7. There's about 7 either shows or movies that are coming out in the month of August for some strange reason, and just about every one of them are like dark. There's Don't Breathe. There's another movie called Malignant and other things like that. And then the stuff they revealed at Comic-Con that's coming out, technically all horror stuff, which is, I'm wondering what is everybody trying to get a slate of horror stuff back out there? Because horror was a little dry last year. So, and you know me, I'm a Mr. Horror guy here, so I'm excited about this. So maybe, just maybe, if next week or next month, because it's August next month, we'll start going into the horror thing. Unless the horror thing is more towards October. But sometimes all the horror stuff don't come out to October; they come out before then. So I'll let you guys know. So just keep your eyes and ears tuned to this channel. And while you're here, like, subscribe, comment, because right now we're going to do something different, and we're going to try to figure out where the heck Hammer went, because I think he's stuck in the void. And how are we going to figure that out? Because we're going to talk about what you guys are waiting for, which is that Loki. So these 6 episodes of Loki, I'm gonna go this. I'm gonna go ahead and just say my numbers. I'm gonna say them. I'm gonna get them out there, and then we're gonna talk about the WTF moments. You know what I'm saying? The moments that everybody like, the OMG moments, whatever. And we're gonna. So I would say episode 1. I would say it was a good 8. It was good. It was funny. It really it established what was going on without giving too much away. So I would say that was pretty good. Episode 2, I'm gonna say 7.5. It's a little slower to me, in my opinion. It's a little slower, really. But it didn't do like what WandaVision did, which was they had those real slow moments. But it still was a little slower. It did a lot of not progression, but can't even say the word. What is going on with these words today? Exhibitions, whatever that word. They did that throughout the show a lot on the second season, because I guess they were trying to put details in or throw you off here and there. Then episode 3, which was a big shocker. It was like, huh? It's like you went from moving fast, slow, and then boom, right in your face, and they just kind of gave you what you thought, and I say thought for a reason, the big reveal. But I actually still liked it, even though the reveal was kind of like, what? I expected maybe in episode 4 or whatever. I mean, I didn't know it was going to be 6 episodes. I thought it was going to be like 8 or 9. So, but so maybe that's probably why. But that was pretty dope. I'm going to say 9. That's my opinion. I'm saying 9. The one after that was pretty good as well. You got to see what Loki did more with the lady Loki, Sylvie. They was walking around, and you got to find out more about their characters. It was a little slower at times, but the slow pace wasn't bad, because you got to find out, like I said, more about who Loki is and where this Loki is going. And it actually helped me figure out if this Loki, because I have an opinion on it, if this Loki is going to be better than the Loki that died, or worse.
Lay down, Tigger.
Because everybody had learned learn to love the Loki who died in Endgame, and people you saw so many memes, people were crying, people were upset, oh no, he's dead, blah blah blah, and all this and that. But now we got this Loki, and it's like, will he live up to that Loki, or will he surpass him? I don't know. Episode 5 was pretty good. It's kept the excavation. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I don't even know what am I saying. It kept the fast pace of the show kind of going. It kind of kept you on your toes, and you wanted to, oh man, what's about to happen next? It was really good. So I'm gonna keep that. I'm not gonna give it a 9. I'm gonna keep that at 8.5. You kind of sensing the theme here. And then episode 6, the big explosion, is a 10. No, it's not a 10. It's not a 10. It's not a 10. And it's the reason why I'm not gonna give it a 10, even though they gave a big reveal, and we'll talk about that reveal, and that reveal was great. It's not a 10 because I have a caveat with, when you really think about how they weaved in all explaining time travel all the way throughout, and I'll get that in a second. But that episode, I'm not even gonna give it a 9. I'm gonna give it 8.5. Even though I love the reveal, even though I think episode 6 was great, and I thought the reveal, I think how it ended was good. Don't get me wrong, I loved it. It was good, but it felt like it was some pieces missing, and maybe they did that on purpose because they're gonna answer it on other shows. But it still felt like they just kind of left you at a cliffhanger. In my opinion, I was kind of like, what? Hey, what? And I don't know. To me, it felt like when you look at Falcon and Winter Soldier, and WandaVision was a little of both, but definitely Falcon and Winter Soldier. It felt like they kind of like, even though it was a little bit of cliffhanger, they answered the questions that you needed, and it's like, okay, you kind of have an idea where this is going. Of course, WandaVision kind of had to, because they had to let you know that this is going to be in Doctor Strange, but Loki just kind of left me guessing of where his character and all this is going, you know. So pretty much overall, as you 8.59, because I think it did the best for a sci-fi supernatural show, way better than WandaVision did, in my opinion. It just, the pacing was great, and then the reveals, they kept the reveals in check. It wasn't too slow at times. It stayed pretty good. It stayed fair. Now, that caveat I was talking about, that's why I can't give this whole season a 10 or even a 9. So the Russo brothers made Endgame, as you guys know. They had them travel back in time, and then they had pretty much disagreement with the writers, where it was like, oh, Steve was able to come back because of this. No, that's not why. It was because of this. And then it kind of left two scenarios up in the air, and then, you know, of course, fans jumped and went to one side or another side, or to create a third. And in Loki, they kind of retconned it a little bit, but not much. But they didn't fully answer it, in my opinion. That it was like, oh, well, how come the Avengers aren't getting arrested, whatever case? Because we wanted them to go back in time the whole time and do everything. And I remember I saw a video online where they even talked about Doctor Strange. Somebody was wondering about the whole Doctor Strange and how he was looking at those multiple things of what could happen. And apparently that goes into what was explained, which is because Doctor Strange chose the right one, or chose that only one to where they can get the Infinity Stones. That means he didn't make any other branching timelines. Therefore, the Time Bureau people didn't have to come in and put those little things down to erase it and start everything back over, so they could do all that over again, apparently. So, and it was okay, but I felt like it was a little bit of retconning in there. In my opinion, I just felt like it was a little bit of retconning. So that's why I can't give it a 9 or a 10, because I felt like, come on, y'all could answer it a little better, in my opinion. I was waiting for them to really like break down what the Avengers did, and but they just didn't. And I know it's because, you know, you have the wannabe King the Conqueror. Sorry if you haven't watched the show. Dude at the end, and the whole thing of realizing that things aren't what they seem, and then about the multiverse in general, and then they're going to explain and they're probably going to explain, like I said, they're probably going to explain more once the Doctor Strange comes out in the Eternals. But I just couldn't give it a 10. And I know it's like, oh, Domingo, that might be a little petty. I mean, like I said, it's the 8.5 is not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. I just couldn't give it because, like I said, first it left me on a cliffhanger. I mean, it was great to see Loki come back, and no one knows who he is, and he's like, what? You know, and then you see actual Kang the Conqueror right there. So it kind of lets you know that things are changing, things are weaving into that the multiverse is already breaking down, and who knows what Wanda is doing right now and what she's going to do, and who knows what the Eternals in that movie, what they're going to do, because apparently they can be manipulated in and out of time as well, because they are technically God beings. So who knows what that's going to do. And also Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings, who knows if that technology itself can have an effect. And, you know, Ant-Man Quantumanium with I don't think she does it in the video game. Maybe Hammer will know. But what's the name that stretches? Miss Marvel. I know she's supposed to in the comics be able to punch through portals or make portals, whatever, with how powerful she is. But I'm not sure if they're going to use that or not. But, you know, I'm assuming, since, you know, they got her in either I'm not sure if she's in Doctor Strange or Ant-Man. She might be in Doctor Strange. But yeah, that's my quick review. You know, because I know I'm late to the party. I know I couldn't give you a detail by detail review for each one because I didn't have Disney Plus. So apologies for that. But overall, that's what I think of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and shift it over to my boys, and they're gonna find out because I know if they haven't seen it, they've seen enough, or they already know the spoilers enough to get what they think overall, what their rating would be, and how they think about the show. So, Hammer, you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go. I give Loki a 9.5 overall. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think he had a valid point about a few spots that were a little bit slow. That's why I took off the 0.5. But overall, storytelling and everything else, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, I was entertained from the first episode to the last. I was fully entertained. And, I don't know why I'm surprised about it. I shouldn't be surprised by it, but I was pleasantly surprised by how good the show was. Like, it really, really is good. It had, in the early episodes, it had in all the episodes, really, it had its fair mix of well-placed comedy. I didn't think anything was ultra cheesy. Sometimes that happens. People try to throw in comedy, but they do it at the worst time, like worst spot. It makes it mega cheesy and not even really funny. I genuinely laughed times with Loki. Like, it was well done to me. I don't know. I'm kind of excited about the potential of Kang the Conqueror. Obviously, if you know that, the guy that was talking to him, while he looks like Kang the Conqueror there, I guess that version of him is, would be more like just Kang. Not really like Kang the Conqueror. At least I didn't take it that way. He's like a scaled back version of himself, if that makes sense. He's more worried about, if I don't stop this version of myself, then he's gonna, there's gonna be a lot of bad stuff that's gonna happen. He kept saying, it's really bad. Really don't want to like start the guy. You don't really want to have to deal with it again. I already dealt with it once. You don't want to deal with it again. But as we do most times, as people, we always seem to screw stuff up and make wrong choices. And Sylvie, I get why she felt the way she did. That was a long time to be running, basically on the run, trying to, preserve your own life. It made sense as to why she reacted the way she did. She's like, "Loki, you got that. I don't care. Y'all think you're a liar. I don't think nothing's gonna happen. You got that." Whereas, myself, if I'm in that situation, I feel like I'd have more to think about. Like, okay, do I really want to do this? I mean, he's describing this dude as he sounds like really terrible. Do I really want to unleash that right now, or just want to deal with one, but deal with one guy that you don't like, but at least not destroying shit. So, but overall, I thought it was well done. I can't wait until Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, all that stuff is gonna be in there. With TVA and all the extra stuff. So, it's definitely gonna be in Doctor Strange movies. I can't wait. I definitely can't wait.
Dope. Appreciate that. That was good. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, and yeah, you can definitely understand why Sylvie would do what she do, and I'm with you. I definitely could be like, why didn't she? I mean, like I said, she was on a run, but I'm assuming that if it was the Tom Hiddleston version of Loki, he probably would have had if he was in her position, maybe he probably would have stopped and thought more, even though it was really nothing. She was kind of like bam, stab, and all that kind of stuff like that. But Snake, how do you feel about the whole Loki series in general? sir?
I liked it. I kind of wish we would have talked about it, whenever it has happening. But here we are. So now I gotta try to reach in my memory banks. It's already over. But hey, we're here now. Okay, we're here now. No, I liked it. I always hate that these shows, I feel like they're too short for, since they made them into series, I wish they would have made them a little bit longer. All of them, Falcon and Winter Soldier, all of them so far, even WandaVision, they haven't been that long. So, I mean, they could at least kept, at least a little longer, I don't know. But every show, I don't really have a rating for it. I mean, because every episode of Loki, they told what they needed to tell as they told it. So, there was no moment of where, I don't know what's going on. And, they told you everything. And then there were so many Easter eggs throughout the thing. There's, you could see everything. They had so much detail in it. It was crazy. They even had a part where they had it was speculated that they had Agent Carter go through. So that was pretty cool. There's a lot of freaking Easter eggs, and the world of the Lokis. Well, I did get upset at one reviewer talking about that all the Lokis get sent to that, and no, I was screaming at the TV. I was just because it's all Lokis doesn't mean that it's just the Lokis there. I think that I was that just whenever they erase or wherever, it all goes to that one place. It just happens to be the Lokis are ruling over. He was talking about all the people there, in screenshots. He was calling all of them Lokis. I'm they're not all Lokis. I was literally I was screaming at the thing, because I was just because, more than likely they're the people, other people that have been erased, they're there, and the Lokis are ruling over them or following them, because they got magic, the other ones don't. Obviously they're gonna follow the stronger person, especially in that place. There's a big cloud that eats you. So I don't know, but I liked it. I liked all of it. I want to know what the other movies that are gonna come out, how they're gonna tie in. I'm always curious about the next show and how it's gonna tie in and what it's gonna change and stuff like that. So I'm trying to remember the next one to come out. Because
the next one to come out is in your you're talking movies. I'm about to say the next one to come out on Disney Plus is in your wheelhouse. It is the Marvel What Ifs. Everyone is talking about that. This is pretty much gonna kind of of course they're giving you alternate versions of that, but this is supposed to be because what Loki and them did. This is why you get this show, supposedly. So apparently this is supposed to be one of the accounts that is happening right now as the multiverse is getting all mixed up, the Marvel What If. So I'm not sure if they're going to do Marvel What If 1, Marvel What If 2, this season, the Marvel What If, the next season, and just be different things so they finally get to the X-Men, which it has, we all know, right? Eventually it's going to get to the X-Men. That's the main purpose of this, is to do that in the Fantastic Four, get to it and do it the correct way, where everything is finally at peace. It's you got to avenge your brother and your family. So you go through this war that you've been doing for years until you finally avenge your family, and then everybody's at peace. So then you got to continue the war and pass it down for generations. And this is Marvel Universe. They're every phase is till they make it right. And then after that, it's gonna say it's gonna stop, but they probably won't. They like money, so they probably gonna keep it going until we're old and gray. Well, they'll be old and gray. I'll just be Ultra Instinct, you know. So that's my thing. So, but yeah, guys, that is pretty much it. Other than that, we would like to guys think. How do you feel about the Loki show? And not only how you feel about the Loki show, how you feel about the multiverse in general. Do you think Marvel is going the correct way? Because last time that Marvel came out at the beginning of their phases, they technically told you who the main bad guy was going to be at the end. They really have it this time. Kang the Conqueror isn't the main bad guy of all bad guys. We still don't know who that is. This time they're keeping it hush. It could be because technically Kang the Conqueror, even though he can fight the Eternals technically could still win because they're technically on a higher power scale than he is, other than him having time powers and using some of that to fight them or whatever. I mean, he can win because of that abilities and those abilities, but it still doesn't put him on a above God tier Infinity Stones type power level. At least not yet. But I don't think that they're going to use him. If they are, they're sneakingly doing it. I think they may be probably putting him behind the scenes just to bring him up and make him, which I hope they don't. I hope they bring somebody like, I don't know, Nightmare or Galactus or somebody out or whatever. Because, I mean, even Doctor Strange is bringing one of them like Shimagora or something like that on the stage. And if you bring somebody to that capacity that might enter from one of the dark realms or whatever, that's like, that's like a god tier or like a kind of like how you have the symbiote god or whatever. You bring somebody like that over into Doctor Strange, which that's what they're doing with one of his bad guys. Then Kang the Conqueror. Then if it is Kang the Conqueror, he's gonna have to be really on another level. They're gonna have to like really like buff him up and do something different with his power levels because the Kang the Conqueror from the comics, he's great and all, but I don't think he's on that level of power. At least not now. He would have to like. It's some abilities and powers that he did have once he took over everything to where he was at that level a couple of times. But I don't know. I just don't think they're doing it. I think they're sneakily putting the main bad guy in there, and we might be shocked. So if you guys have any ideas, put in the comment section. And, you know, like I said before, like, subscribe, and, you know, tell us what ideas you can do that you know that can get Hammer out of the multiverse. He's stuck. Apparently, he was there, like he said, when Loki and Sylvie killed Kane, and apparently he got sucked into one of the little voids, and I don't know what universe he's on, but we were able to talk to him, so maybe you guys can get him out of here. I don't know. So if you have any ideas, leave them in the comment section, and maybe we can get him out, because we was only able to pull him out last week for his show. He made it, and then he got sucked back in. I don't. But you really, really take away the imagination of people. How can you have all of those comics and then you just take away everybody's imagination? Anyway, people, that's all we got for today's show. So I'm Mingo-Dee, that's Snake, that's Hammer. We will catch you next time on Prime Time. But make sure to catch us on Hammer's show. I can't believe it. To Get Down and then Narration the rest of this week.